Grip 6 manufactures amazing belts, wallets, and wool socks. And did you know they have unlimited replacements for life? Check out their chess-themed merchandise at grip6.com/chess and use code CHESS20 for 20% off your next order.
Hey everyone, it's Grandmaster Ben Finegold here with the game of the day from the Candidates Tournament, the tournament that will decide who plays Magnus Carlsen at the end of the year. There's great live coverage on Chess.com, Twitch page and YouTube. They got so many grandmasters and different grandmasters too. They sort of switch it up. So it's really exciting coverage. The games are really exciting. And as I've said in previous videos, drawing isn't good. You have to win because you have to win the tournament. You can't come in second. Don't play Magnus then. So at the start of the round, Jan Nepomniachtchi was a point ahead of Giri, MVL, and Fabi. Fabi and Nepomniachtchi played sort of a boring draw, and MVL's still playing as I speak against Grishuk, and he's probably going to lose. So this game is really important, and this was clearly the game of the day. Okay, so they played a Ruy Lopez, and Giri can play anything on move one, but Liren is going to play black and a Ruy Lopez. Unless white plays bishop c4 or d4 here, but you know what Liren's going to play with black. Okay, and in this position, after bishop e7, normally white plays rook to e1, the normal Ruy Lopez closed variation or Marshall gambit, depending. And here, Anish played a slightly unusual move, bishop takes c6. And the idea is, if you play bishop takes c6 after a6, move 3, when your bishop is attacked, so you play bishop c6 on move 4, this bishop's on f8, this knight's on g8, so they have a choice of what squares to go to, and they've already made their decisions, and these aren't the best squares in this particular situation, because after the move d3, defending the pawn, this pawn's already under attack, and it's not clear what to do. So this is different than the exchange Ruy Lopez, and I've had this position twice with black because I used to play a6 in the Ruy. I move 3, but now I don't. And the first time I was playing a Russian grandmaster, Vasyukov, I think his first name's Evgeny. Now I'm getting confused. This is over 30 years ago. It's way over 30 years ago. And he crushed me. Man, I got beat really bad. So I'm sort of afraid of this line, but I don't play black anymore. The most common move is knight d7, defending the pawn. But he played bishop d6. You don't want to play bishop e7, bishop d6, but he played bishop a4, bishop c6. That's fair. Okay, and knight bd2 is pretty common. And in this position, a lot of the super GMs are playing bishop e6. This is a very flexible move because you're not sure if black's going to castle queenside or kingside if you have the white pieces. And if you play knight d7 to defend the e-pawn more, your bishop's not trapped on c8. So this is a very common move now amongst the super GMs. Knight b3 is a novelty, at least it is for me. I have a database of a lot of games, and that move's never been played. More common is b3. I think they usually fianchetto the bishop. But yeah, this move, and the idea Giri has is to do something quite strange, play knight a5 and say, what are you going to do about that? It's an unusual idea, but I think the point is he studied it, it's prep, and Liren's like, what's that? So you get time on the clock. Doesn't give white an advantage, but it changes the game. Queen e7 is still flexible. We don't know which way black's going to castle. Knight a5. And now black has to decide, is he going to play rook b8 and castle kingside or castle queenside? The problem is you can never play b6 because your c-pawn's hanging on c6. So he castled queenside, which is consistent with playing bishop e6, queen e7. And it's good for us because opposite side castling means it's going to be exciting. And I think it's important to make the game exciting. Giri needs to win some games to win the tournament. And, Ding Liren would probably like to get 50% when the tournament's over instead of coming in last. So, okay. Queen e2, not an exciting move. Bishop g4, c3. And in this position, I like what Ding did. He played c5. This defends d4 and b4, making it difficult for white to do anything. So Giri played a3 so he could play b4. Having said that, he moved a pawn on the queen's side. Normally you don't move pawns in front of your king, but he still has the 2 pawns in front of his king. He does now, but now I am not a fan of the way Ding plays the next few moves. He plays c6. I really dislike that move. Now, obviously, Ding's a much better player than me, but I really dislike moving pawns in front of my king because those pawns are protecting your king. I mean, your king's really safe when you castle, unless you move the pawns in front of it. The idea of c6 just to give himself the c7 square, which, I don't think is super important, but okay, he did. b4, the point of a3 and c3, attack, bishop c7, and the knight went back to b3, attacking the c pawn. He wants black to take so he can open up a file and keep pushing his pawns. Knight d7, defending the c pawn, h3. Now, this is funny because this is a mistake a lot of club players make, which Ding makes here, which is when you're doing something, like queening your passed pawns or attacking your opponent's king, or trying to get the 2 bishops, or trying to win a trapped knight, you sometimes don't stop when you should stop and do something better. It's very hard to do that. Super grandmasters are great at that. Like, you think they're going to mate you, but you stop the mate, then they do something that wins on their side of the board. And you're like, oh, yeah. So here, Ding has to forget about his king side attack and play bishop e6 and say, okay, what are you going to do with that knight? Are you going to trade everything? Are you going to make a passive move protecting your knight? Are you going to passively move here? But instead, he maintained his pin attack, which that's not a good move. Okay, and now Giri made a mistake, which, I don't blame him because it's really hard to see this as a mistake. Bishop e3. It's a very minor mistake. The reason it's a mistake, Ding actually figured out why. The e pawn's not protected anymore by the queen. And you're like, so what? It's protected by the pawn. It's not attacked. Who cares? And Ding found a brilliant way to take advantage of that. He played f5. Obviously, he wants to push his kingside pawns. That's where white's king is. And the idea is if you take on f5, which looks perfectly safe, now you play the explosive c4, as Elaine Bennis said. And obviously you can't take because of e4. That's pretty nice. And you have to play knight bd2 so that when there's captures here, e4 doesn't win a piece because your knight is stopping it. And then bishop takes f3. You can't take with the knight because e4 forks. You have to take with the pawn. Man, I thought I was ugly. And then black just has a monster advantage here. Any move gives him the advantage. Knight f6, queen h4, g6, because that's not good. And white's attack is stopped. White played knight b to d2. Yeah. So this would be really good for black. And Ding saw that when he played f5. And if Giri had not played bishop e3, then f5 wouldn't be so dangerous because my queen is defending. Now it's not. Okay. So he took on c5, and correctly, Ding just moved his queen away and said, okay, now I'm attacking. Okay. Rook b1, excellent move. And here, Ding started to falter again. He should just take everything. Take, and play like rook f8. And there you go. And the engine says black's slightly better. Probably if this had happened, the game would have ended in a draw. But black could have been pressing because you can't defend this. So black's going to get the material back, and white doesn't really have anything of note. Okay. Instead, lucky for us, Ding was like, "Rawr, I want to win." So he played G5. I mean, I'm not going to say anything bad about that. The engine doesn't like it as much as taking on E4, but it's really good for an exciting game, and it's good for us. Okay, EF5, G4. G4 is probably the losing move. And again, Ding got caught up with attacking instead of playing solid chess. That happens when you castle opposite sides. You want to checkmate your opponent. But Giri has a very nice rejoinder here. Knight G5 attacking the queen, and H4, and then Black's attack is stopped. He's also given up the E4 square. He has an isolated E5 pawn. Now the engine really likes White. And of course, in opposite side castling games that are very complicated, the players make more mistakes. If it's a boring game with an symmetrical pawn structure, then they play better, but the game's a draw, so that's no fun. Okay, he played B6, which again, I don't like that move. I don't like C6. I don't like B6. I don't like opening up my king. I don't see the point of that. And as a consequence, he got punished. Now, White can have a safe, big advantage with Bishop E3, and then Black probably wonders why he did that. But Giri made the game exciting for us. He sacrificed a piece. He played Knight E4. And I would never take that piece because in the long run, your king is open forever. And this is a long-term sacrifice. It's not like White mates Black or he's down a piece and loses. Some sacrifices are like that. This is a sacrifice where White mates Black or White has compensation forever because the pawn structure is so bad for Black and the king is so bad for Black. That king's never going to be safe. So I don't like this move. I definitely would have played G3 because when opposite side castling happens, I like to attack. I don't want to be in trouble defending and hope I can defend. I want them to hope they can defend. So I would have played G3. And after G3, White just moves his queen away and he has a big advantage. But okay, he took. Exciting for us. Takes. Now this is open forever. These pawns are all terrible. My knight has D6. I can play queen B2 and come in. And Black doesn't really have any attack. Okay. And Ding didn't defend in the best way. But I don't blame him. Every move looks like a move and you got to pick one. And you can't analyze all the variations. You're just using your judgment. He played Knight F6. The engine does not like that move. But to tell you how difficult this position is, the engine wants to play Knight B8, which defends the weak pawns. But why are you going to be a piece up if you're going to put your knight on B8, your rook on H8? What? So Knight F6 is a human move. You try to do something. Okay, Knight D6 check. Excellent move. Now White has 2 squares for his knight. And the important thing here is that this pawn is hanging. So after rook takes D6, Giri found the best move. Because, these moves are tempting. But D4 is the best. Threatening queen A6 check, discovered attack, taking on E5 isn't bad, forking the rook and knight C5 is not bad. And these pieces just have nothing to do with defending the Black king. And Black moved all of his pawns in front of his king, so White's king's perfectly safe. So Black's in a lot of trouble here. The engine wants to play king D8. Seemed like a human move. He played C5, defending his pawn, because he was really afraid of that. Here comes the knight. He finally got his rook into the game on move 28. Queen C4. And the truth hurts. Discovered attack everywhere. A6 pawn is hanging, and these just do nothing. You could say, well, White's a piece down. What's that piece doing? It's hanging out. But yeah, look at the king, and then look at that king. Any questions? So yeah. Now this will surprise you. It surprises me a little. The engine says White's plus 11. I mean, that's crazy. That means the perfect defense from the engine is plus 11 for White. If black doesn't defend perfectly, like the third line is plus 18. That's how bad this position is. So when I looked at the position earlier, I was thinking, well, this is the only move. You got to stop, the knight moves. Then the engine's like, yeah, what are you going to do against that? And I was like, I don't know. My engines talk. And then I resigned. I had no idea what to do in this position with black. If you go here, it's not good. Yeah. And now we're threatening checkmate. Knight d7, queen d7, rook b8 mates. You have to go here, and then I wanted to resign again. Checkmate, checkmate. Ugh. And again, nothing is doing nothing. A brilliant game by Giri. The reason I like this game a lot is he understood the piece sacrifice better than Ding. When he played knight c5, take, he knew he was winning, and Ding wouldn't have taken the knight if he realized how bad it was. So, Giri sacrificed a lot this game, opposite side castling, a brilliant game, and as a consequence, he's in clear second now, half a point behind Jan, half a point ahead of Fabiano, and as we speak, either half a point or a point ahead of MVL. This is Grandmaster Ben Finegold with the game of the day here for Chess.com. That was round 11. There's 3 rounds to go, 12, 13, 14, and there's still 2 or 3 players who can win the tournament. So watch the coverage on Chess.com Twitch and YouTube page, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.